Hey YouTube, how's it going? Well, in this video, I am going to go over Bionano Genomics because I haven't done a BNGO update video in about a week, and they're having some very interesting price action at the moment, so I want to go over that. And then, of course, after, I have some other great looking charts to show you as well. Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to invest and trade in typically lower price stocks and talk about all other things finance related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. Okay, I'm going to get started right away, and this is the current daily chart of Bionano Genomics, ticker symbol BNGO. And I actually wanted to get this video out a little bit earlier, but it looks like BNGO is already starting to take off. Had this very nice consolidation being cradled by those two moving averages, the 8-period and the 21-period exponential moving averages. And now it is already starting to push it higher. And if we look down at the volume, we can see the volume is very, very light. So that is telling you that there's not a lot of selling going on up here, and it's not taking all that much buying to push this thing higher. So if volume really starts to come into BNGO, this thing could really start to move because there is certainly a lack of sellers at the moment. And if we go intraday, let me go to the 15-minute chart. If we go to the 15-minute chart, we can see it is just starting to enter that buy area that I like. We've had this nice consolidation. You can easily draw these trend lines on it. If you wanted to just put a frame around it, now it is busting out of this resistance level, and it is holding that 8-period exponential moving average. So that means it is time to buy the breakout because there's a very good possibility that it's going to continue the move higher. When you get these moves starting to break out like this, and then they just can't hold that 8-period exponential moving average, you know that it's not going to be a clean breakout, and you want to wait. I like to have it wait at least 3 bars on the 8-period exponential on the 8-period exponential moving average on the 15-minute time frame. If it can hold at least 3 bars and start to move back up without a break, you can see it was breaking the 8-period exponential moving average here and here, so you want to stay away. But if you zoom in, you can see it did not break it this time, and it started to move up, and it broke through that resistance area. So this is the type of buy signals that I like to wait for, and you can see there's been more higher than average volume coming in at this point in the chart. So it's actually, even though the volume isn't huge on the day, it's actually a pretty healthy looking breakout. But if we back out of the chart just a little bit, you can see how nice of a pattern that was forming on the 15-minute chart. And if you were watching this, you could tell that it was probably inevitable that it was going to be breaking out to the upside as it was putting pressure on that resistance area. But BNGO, let's go right back to the daily chart. It's a very nice looking pattern at the moment. If it can hold this resistance area today, I think this is certainly a viable breakout because BNGO looks like it's going to be heading higher. But that's what I wanted to go over on BNGO. Let's get over to some other nice tradable charts. All right, well, the first one I want to show you guys is SGOC. This is the one I am probably going to buy today if it continues showing strength. What I want to do is have it close near the high of the day before I enter. Well, unfortunately for me, it has been kind of challenging to buy near the end of the day. But anyway, what I want is strength at the close, because if you get strength at the close, you are probably going to get some follow through the upside. I mean, as we can see the day before, yesterday's candle looked just like this one once upon a time. And of course, the challenge is if you're waiting towards the end of the day, the stock can get pretty extended, so it increases your buy point, increases your risk. But if you're buying too early in the day, the candle can reverse like this. And if your only premise for buying is you're looking for a bullish candle on the chart, and then by the end of the day it reverses and makes a candle like this, the signal was never valid. It was never there. So that's the challenge when you're buying. I like to buy when strength is coming in towards the end, just because, if you guys look at charts when they start to move up, you always get a candle like this before it explodes. You very seldom get a weak candle. Um, But like I said, that challenge is sometimes that thing starts to run without you and it increases your risk. The higher the price goes, the more risk you have. But SGOC is definitely my favorite chart pattern of the day. It's making a very nice rounding bottom and is starting to hook up. And you can see these last 2 days, volume has been increasing. So buying is coming into the market. I don't know. I guess if we go intraday, we can check the previous day. Actually, let's go to the 5-minute chart. We go to the 5-minute chart. You can see most of the volume for the day before was up volume. So there's only this had this big red bar right here, but most of the other bars were above the average. So I would say a majority of the buying yesterday was probably to the upside. So I would say this is still a pretty healthy looking breakout, and actually it's breaking out higher as I speak, so my risk is ever increasing. Hopefully it doesn't go too high, because SGOC is definitely the one that I would like to buy today. But let's get into some of the gold stocks, because I've been watching some of these gold stocks, and the strength looks like it is increasing. This one was brought to my attention by my friend in the Patreon, our Mormon in a Motorhome friend. Found this one, brought it to our attention. He actually has a YouTube channel of his own. If you guys have an RV and you want any tips on how to operate it, or some neat tricks of the trade, definitely check out his channel. He's got some pretty good tips on that channel. But anyway, TRX is holding that 8-period exponential moving average. We got a lot of volume coming in, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this one starts to hook up in the next couple of days. If I back out, it's had a pretty decent consolidation going back quite a ways. So I think TRX is definitely set up to make a nice move to the upside. And I'm seeing a lot of strength in these gold stocks. I haven't bought one yet, but I'm like dying to get in. I don't even know why I haven't bought one yet. I'm just waiting for a little bit more follow through. Next one I'm going to show you is GPL. GPL is in the industrial metals and minerals, so relatively the same group, but this one is looking very nice, and it actually just broke out of a descending wedge. So once they break out of that descending wedge, that usually signals the bottom, and if we zoom in a little bit closer, we can see it did have that false break, jumped right back up into this consolidation, broke through the wedge, and it is moving higher, and is moving higher on big volume. So GPL, this is actually Great Panther Silver, so they're probably just in the silver industry, but GPL is definitely looking pretty strong at the moment. Nice rounding bottom inside of this, or just on the other side of the breakout of this descending wedge. So pretty much 2 bullish formations have just happened in this chart. So I think GPL is definitely worth keeping on your watch list, maybe even adding right here, because this is at a really good buy point if you want some exposure to the silver market. But let's get to the next one, and that is GAU. We can see GAU is starting to hook up, and this one is also in the gold sector. It's holding that 8-period exponential moving average and is making a very bullish candle at the moment. I would like to see it get above 145 and hold, but this is definitely a decent buy area where it's at the moment, because just a break below these moving average would be your stop loss. So you have all of this room to the upside, and your stop loss would be limited to around, I would say, about $1.25 is where I would put it. So it's not a bad buy area on a GAU at the moment, but you can see we're just at the right side of that potential rounding bottom. So it's in the very early stages. Volume has been slightly above average, so that's a good thing. So GAU, in my opinion, is looking pretty good. I'd like to see it bust 145 and hold that level, though, because it's not very high above this 200 period simple moving average at the moment. So if this thing would have a little bit more strength, I'd probably be a little bit more interested in it. But the next one I want to show you is TMQ. TMQ is also in the metals and minerals sector, and this one is making a nice rounding bottom. If we back it out, you can see it's been making it for quite a while, and it's finally looking like it's starting to break out to the upside. This one I would want to see a little bit more strength in as well, but I'm just noticing a lot of momentum building in this sector, so I wanted to show it to you before it starts to take off if you guys wanted to get in a little bit early. But the next one I want to talk about is BGI, and this is Burks Group, and this one makes luxury goods. It is just starting to accelerate to the upside. There's a little bit more risk in this one, but it is definitely starting to pick up a lot of momentum to the upside. So I think if this thing pulled back closer to the 8-period exponential moving average, I'd be a little bit more interested in it. It does look like there's been some selling right now, so it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we do get a better entry on a BGI. But this one looks like it could potentially just be starting its run, because you can see this thing was going sideways just a couple of months ago, and it has just started moving up. These candles look pretty big right now, but if we get another hook to the upside, that can definitely make these candles look small in retrospect if this thing explodes higher. So I think BGI is just starting to build up some momentum, and it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, possibly entering closer to that 8-period exponential moving average if it can get down to around the 216 level or so. It's a little bit of a ways down, but it could make it. The next one I want to go over is TOPS. And again, this was brought to our attention by our friend in the Patreon, the Mormon in a Motorhome. He was pounding the table on these shipping and ports stocks, and these maritime stocks are really starting to explode to the upside. When he was talking about them, this one in particular, Top Ships, is really starting to move to the upside. So now that momentum has really started to explode in these ones, you want to look for those pullbacks. And anytime this thing pulls back anywhere near the 8-period exponential moving average, that's when you want to look to enter. And of course, when it breaks that moving average and starts to hold below it, then you know the run, at least in the short term at the very least, is over. But TOPS is taking off. The one that I was watching that I didn't get into, I should have listened to him, was Safe Bulkers. I was thinking about getting in this one a couple of weeks ago when it jumped above that 8-period exponential moving average. And this one is just really starting to scream higher. So that was a great find by our friend in the Patreon, because that's the great thing about being in the Patreon. You know, I can't watch every single sector. It's so nice having so many eyes on all these different sectors, because it really brings some of the things that you're missing to your attention. But the last one I want to go over is BBW, Build-A-Bear Workshop. Now, this is an intriguing play. I don't know what's going on with Build-A-Bear Workshops, but this one has been a dog for a long time, and now it is finally starting to hook up, and it's got some huge volume coming in. I'm just wondering if this might be like the next short squeeze type play, because that's the kind of feeling that I'm getting when I'm looking at this chart, especially when you see how far it's come down. Let's go to the weekly chart. You see how far it's come down. I mean, this thing's been falling ever since 2015. It's probably been getting just hammered by the shorts. You know, they've just been putting a ton of pressure on this one. I haven't even looked at the short interest, but that's what I'm just guessing by looking at this chart. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if this might be the next short squeeze candidate if there is a high short interest. But BBW definitely looks like it is building up a lot of momentum. It just broke above this triangle consolidation. So, I mean, it looks like it is just starting to make that next move up. You know, if you zoom in a little bit, you see he had that big explosion and he had that huge turnaround, which I don't like to see. But it came right down to that support level, just broke it for a minute, and then jumped right back above it. So that is definitely what you want to see if you are buying this kind of breakout pattern. And now it looks like it is jumping higher, and it is having an inside day at the moment, which of course that represents strength. So if this thing can continue to hold above that 8-period exponential moving average, there's no reason to think that it couldn't be moving up higher in the near future and possibly testing the highs that it made just a couple of weeks ago. So BBW, I think, is an interesting play. Might be a short squeeze candidate, who knows, but BBW should definitely be on your watch list. All right, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you want me to look at any other stocks, please leave them down there in the comments section, and I will try to get to it the next video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.